In Remnant 2, the Challenger is the ultimate close-range destroyer. This archetype sports thick armor, a defensive mindset, and a tight grip on their melee weapon to crush anything nearby. If you're a warrior, barbarian, or a berserker type of player, stick around while we give the Challenger a look. This class is one of the 5 starting archetypes for the game and provides a strong close to mid-range presence in order to inflict heavy damage on enemies. Now, with an assortment of defensive and offensive tools in their kit, the Challenger could be a strong addition to any other archetype. Now, while it's not confirmed, we can see in this screenshot and a little bit of gameplay that the Challenger might start with a drum-fed shotgun, a two-handed sword, and a revolver. Now, when it comes to the trait of the Challenger, we have Strong Back. This reduces encumbrance by 10 and allows you to dodge and move more freely than you would be able to without it. So imagine being able to wear heavy armor, but still having the medium dodge. Being able to move in and out more easily while still benefiting from the protection of heavy armor is going to be a huge plus to anybody looking for survivability. When it comes to perks, the Challenger does have a pretty balanced lineup that I think most players will like. The prime perk is Die Hard, and this is going to make the Challenger invulnerable for 5 seconds and regenerate 100% of max health whenever you take fatal damage. Now, this can only happen once every 10 minutes, so make sure to kind of time it as best you can. Any sort of get out of jail free card type of perk is great to have, especially as a solo player, but that 10-minute cooldown is definitely a long one. So for our damage perk, we have Close Quarters. This is going to grant up to 40% increased ranged and melee damage to all enemies within 7 meters. Now, the damage bonus will taper off until you reach 13 meters. Your critical chance is also increased by 10% to enemies within the same range. The team perk is Intimidating Presence. This is going to activate whenever you activate a Challenger skill. Any enemies within 10 meters will deal 10% less damage for 15 seconds, with an additional 2.5% damage reduction per enemy affected with a maximum of 10%. This is a huge defensive buff, especially when you're dealing with mobs of enemies, and it activates whenever you activate a skill, so it'll combo really nicely with the skills we'll talk about here shortly. Now, our utility perk is Powerlifter. This is going to reduce the stamina cost for each weight bracket, and it's going to reduce stamina regen delay by 50%, which again is huge, especially if you're going to be a stamina hungry build. This is going to allow you to regain stamina faster and use less stamina overall. Now, the relic perk is Face of Danger. This is going to grant 2 stacks of Bulwark and 10% increased damage for 10 seconds when you use a relic within 10 meters of an enemy. Bulwark is a unique buff to the Challenger that grants increased movement and melee speed. So next, let's talk a little bit about skills. So first up, we have War Stomp. This is such a warrior skill. You're going to stomp the ground and create a tremor that's going to deal 210 damage and add additional stagger in a forward cone of up to 7.5 meters and deal damage in all directions at point blank range. Now, I love these types of skills and the way you can build around them. Hopefully we see the same thing in Remnant 2, because War Stomp looks really cool. Next, we have Juggernaut, which grants Bulwark level 3. This is going to give 15% increased movement and melee speed, 50% increased melee damage, and stagger damage is going to be reduced by 1, which essentially makes you immune to stagger, and this lasts for 25 seconds. Last is Rampage. This is going to increase your fire rate by 15%, your reload speed by 20%, and your movement speed by 10% for 20 seconds. But that's not all. Rampage is sort of a 2-part skill. So whenever you deal high damage to enemies, you're going to gain 1 stack of Rage, which increases your range damage by 5% per stack. Once you reach 10 stacks, you're going to Berserk, which reloads your current firearm and doubles the Rampage effects for 20 seconds. So guys, just imagine pairing this with the Gunslinger and taking advantage of all of the Gunslinger's firearm-based bonuses, combining with Rampage. You are looking at an absolute just monster of range damage if you're able to pull that off. So overall, the Challenger seems like a fantastic archetype for those who love crushing bones up close, or for those who want to kind of ease their way into Remnant 2 and want a little bit more of a defensive buffer to sort of get their bearings. With a good offensive and defensive set of skills, players will be able to handle most situations and should be able to handle anything Remnant 2 throws at them. So guys, the big question is the Challenger for you? Let me know in the comment section below what you think so far about this archetype. As always, thank you so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.